Hey there, my friend. Steve Gamlin here. It is time to promote and talk about and interview the founder of a very important event coming up. It is Authorpreneur Live 3.0. Here's how important this event is in my life. I actually wrote it on the chalkboard here in the recording studio. Very rarely does anybody but me get their stuff on the chalkboard. But this is 3.0. This is the third annual Authorpreneur Live event. I've been very honored and overjoyed and thrilled to be part of all three. So today we're talking to Mr. Brian K. Wright. Brian is the founder of Authorpreneur Live and so much more. Brian, hey there, and welcome to the Motivational Firewood Show.
Thank you, Steve. It's always a privilege to be here. Love what you do.
Thank you so much. And you're a big part of it. And I'm going to say right up front, because you do so much with ghostwriting and editing, working with people to help them get their books done, that I'm very proud to say, and it has not had a worldwide release yet, thanks to the information I've gotten from you and from the Authorpreneur Live events and the experts, the re-release in paperback of my third book out of the four that I published is now available on paperback, print on demand, which I knew nothing about until conversations with you and your experts. So why don't you give everybody a bit of a background on what got you here? And because I get this all the time, what qualifies you to talk about this? Right. Arrogant when people do that, but I do know you're the expert, so I'll say it nicely.
Yeah.
And what qualifies you to lead and create such an event?
And then the other thing that happens is when someone's interviewing me at the end, they'll ask, so what golden nugget do you want to leave with us? What is the best golden nugget you want to leave with us? I'm like, did you not listen to the whole interview?
Roll the wheel. Spin the wheel, roll the dice, just drop the needle where it lands.
Basically, whatever comes to my mind in that moment. Right. So to answer your question, I've always been interested in writing. In fact, when I was a kid, I would write episodes of TV shows that I know and love. For example, I would write episodes of Lost in Space. Remember that show? Yeah. I would do that in study hall when I had all my homework done. In church, when I was really fidgety, Mom would hand me a notebook and I would write underdog stories from the Underdog cartoon.
Yes.
That was fun. I loved doing that. And in fact, in high school, I tried writing a novel and I wrote myself into a corner that I couldn't resolve. And so I gave up. And then in college, my minor was in English. I took a creative writing course. And so we were writing short stories. My ideas were way too big for a short story. In fact, one story that I was working on was the hypothesis of what if someone stowed away on Noah's Ark? What would that look like? Well, the teacher was an atheist. He didn't like the idea. So that was strike one. Right. And the other strike, which was legit, was this ended really abruptly. Well, yeah, my story idea was too big to fit in 15 or 20 pages. I could have gone on for a while with this. And so that was always what I ran into in this class is your stories end too abruptly. Well, my ideas are too big. Mm-hmm. And I realized, maybe fiction isn't my sandbox. Nonfiction is. And that's what I've learned. So I love writing books that have to do with business and personal development. And I started doing my radio show in 2012. In fact, episode 400 is coming up in about a month or so. I love doing that. And I spun that into a magazine, Success Profiles Magazine, which my 3-year anniversary is coming up very, very soon. I started my first issue in December 2017. And I will be working on the November issue very, very shortly. And thank you, Steve, for being the only person who has turned something in every single month. So anyway, I used to teach speech and English and business math at a college, a 2-year business college. And so I taught people how to write their papers and that was fun. And I had my own student leadership book in 2009 that I wrote. That was already done. So I got the idea that maybe I could help other people write their books or coach them through the process of doing it. And I've been doing that for a few years now. And I've got several active projects right now that keep me very, very busy. And I love it. I get to learn a lot. And so if it's in the personal development or business space, I'm all good. I'm not going to write your romance novel. I don't want to. And I've learned to say no to things I don't really want to do. I'm so much more at peace and I'm not beholden to their expectations and their timelines and having to fight through, I don't even really want to do this. This is the thing. And I've learned one time I had a situation and it was a roommate situation. And I learned very quickly that I was operating out of need and not out of want. I was miserable. It was awful. And I never, ever want to be like that in my work. If you are operating out of need instead of want, the choices you make are very, very different, and your happiness levels will be very, very different. So do as often as you can what you want to do instead of what you really need to do or what you need. Operate out of want and not out of need. Your life will be so much lighter.
And that is so important. And the whole time you were saying that, I'm thinking, I remember the early days as a speaker and a writer and trying to do everything. And, we've got the Authorpreneur event coming up. And over the course of 2 days, you have, I believe, is it 12 experts?
12.
You'll be sharing 12 experts. And you could probably speak with relative authority on each one of these topics, but operating out of want instead of need. You've gone out and you've found all these people who are as excited about what they talk about as you are about the narrower focus of what you love to do most and what you're best at. So who are some of the people that we've got coming up in the event? Kind of what are the different topics? Because so many people just think, well, I'm going to write a book. They don't realize all this other stuff that comes with it. Yeah, you wrote a book. Good job. Well, who knows it besides, you and your mom at this point?
Yeah. So I've got probably 4 people who presented last time, and you were one of them. And then everyone else is 4 or 5. And then everyone else is new, has never presented at this event before. So it's always great to have new people involved. So Scott Aaron is returning. He is a LinkedIn expert. And Steve, I know you loved his presentation last time. Yes. It was amazing. Yeah. I helped him with his book. It's called the LinkedIn Book for Network Marketing. And as the title does suggest, it's to help network marketers learn how to use LinkedIn more effectively. But the principles are for all of us. It doesn't have to be just LinkedIn, or it doesn't have to be just network marketing. It talks about optimizing your profile. It talks about messaging, what to say, what not to say. A schedule, a schedule that he has that he suggests to people. How to join groups and create groups and how to get leads out of groups. So basically the whole idea is to find your perfect client on LinkedIn, which is valuable because LinkedIn is still a mystery to a lot of people. Linda Hollander is going to join us and she's going to talk about sponsorships, how to get sponsorships for anything you want to do, even if you're just beginning. She's going to talk about having an industry appropriate sponsorship proposal. She'll probably talk about the first sponsorship deal she ever got. She'll talk about getting the big fish sponsors who do want audiences to reach out to. And what can you get sponsored? You can get your book tour sponsored. You can get your marketing sponsored. If you're a nonprofit, you can get your cause sponsored. I mean, if your passion is to clean up the Mississippi River, you can find a sponsor to help you do that.
Yeah.
You just have to give someone a compelling reason. And oh, by the way, sponsors are not ATM machines. You have to give them value too. And so she'll talk about what that looks like. So getting sponsors, you can get sponsors, $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 or more to support what you are doing in your business. And how awesome is that to get funding from a sponsor for something? You'll be speaking about vision boards and helping people visualize what they really want in a very concrete way. And some of the great case studies that you've gotten to work with. The Giraffica story is still my favorite one.
Yes, mine too. And it's still going and growing too as we speak. So yeah.
Yes. And so if you don't know what that is, you'll have to just register for the event and listen more. Doug Vermeeren is going to talk about how to get on stages. He is an expert in helping people get on stages. He's interviewed some of the most amazing people. He's also a movie producer. He produced the movie called How Thoughts Become Things, which is being billed as the sequel to The Secret. In fact, he introduced me to a lot of people who I've interviewed on my show and in my magazine. And the May issue of my magazine was dedicated completely to How Thoughts Become Things. And so successprofilesmagazine.com if you want to register and subscribe to that and read all the issues that I've ever created, including all the special editions. There's probably close to 60 issues between the monthly issues and the special editions that you can read now. So you can stay busy for hours and hours and days just reading content that's on that site. And that's awesome. Lonnie Robinson is going to talk about creating the ultimate book funnel. So you've got a book. How do you sell it online? How do you create a funnel? How do you parlay that book into helping someone find more about you? Maybe it's your course. Maybe it's your coaching program. Maybe it's inviting you to speak on stage. Maybe it's joining somebody's high-level mastermind program. But everything's a progression. Your book is not the end. The book is the beginning of what you are offering to your client and getting them into your universe. And Lonnie will talk about how to put that together. Arlene Gale's going to talk about how to spin your book into multiple streams of income and how she's done that. She has also done some ghostwriting and some consulting. And the last time she was on, she talked about how to create a book proposal. And so go back and hear the recordings for Authorpreneur Live. In fact, if you register at authorpreneurlive.com, you will have the opportunity to invest in the recordings for the third version, and you also have the opportunity to go back and invest in the recordings for the previous two. It's fantastic. We also have Chris Winfield and Jen Gottlieb. They will help you. They're a power couple, and their world is helping you get on television. And I'm in their media mastermind. So lots of opportunities, how to craft your story, how to pitch somebody properly, coming up with your dream list of shows that you want to be on. In fact, I taped an episode of The List, which is a nationally syndicated show, which blankets 40% of the country. As of today, my segment is due to drop today. So I'm excited about that. It'll be my first TV appearance, my first national TV appearance. So that'll be great. Awesome. Mark Russell is going to talk about how to get coaching clients based on your expertise. He's brilliant. He's been on before, and he is amazeballs. He's awesome. Fantastic.
Markwell is a ball of fire. I mean,
he is.
You may as well just invest in the recordings now, because you can't possibly take enough notes.
Yeah.
Listening to Markwell live and get it all. He's
amazing. Got a great PowerPoint presentation. You should get the recordings just for that, because you can, pause and write down what you need.
Right.
And who knows, if you ask nicely, maybe the speakers might be willing to share their slides with you. Maybe, I don't know. I can't vouch. It could happen. One never knows what happens on Authorpreneur Live 3.0. Yep. We're about to find out. And that event's going to be on October 28th and 29th, which is on a Wednesday and a Thursday. Terry Levine's going to talk about how to crowdfund your book and attract publishers, because again, their end game is they want to sell your book. They won't work with you if they don't think that they can sell your book, or if they don't think your book will sell. So you can crowdsource your book, and she'll talk about that. Tyler Widener is going to talk about how to create a bestseller launch. He helped me get to #1 on Amazon in multiple categories with this book, Success Profiles, Conversations with High Achievers, Volume 2. The Kindle version of this is 99 cents on Amazon. You can't even sneeze at that. The paperback's available too. And then the last person I want to highlight is Tom Latigard. He is an intellectual property attorney. If you've been wondering about copyrights, trademarks, patents, anything to protect yourself, you cannot miss that session. And he will answer all questions relating to protecting your intellectual property. And I'm pretty sure he'll have an offer around working with him if you want him to actually do that for you. Researching to see whether your thing is already trademarked. That's really important, is knowing whether your thing is your idea is already taken.
Yeah.
Because how crazy would it be to spend hours and days and weeks and months putting your thing together only to find out that somebody else already bought the rights to do that?
I've run into it with people. They say, "Oh, I have this great idea." Yeah, it's already been done. Well, I didn't find it. Well, do a little more digging, because you can put, even years of heart and soul into something and all of a sudden realize that somebody else has done it. And it's really not cool if you just say, "Well, I'm going to do my version of it." It's, first off, karmically speaking, it's probably not a cool thing to do. But second off, legally speaking, it could be a very disastrous thing. So it is so good to be educated and to have all of these experts, because, like we've said, it's not just writing a book. Yeah, you wrote a book. Fine. I've written 4 books. I've probably written 8. I've published 4. But to get the advice and the guidance and the suggestions and have your eyes open, your eyes are going to go from here to seeing the entire field over the course of these 2 days. It may scare the heck out of you. It probably will. But here's the thing. Every single one of these experts is going to offer advice that is going to help you to advance. If you take the information, plot out, for my part of it is see the vision of everything you need to do, but then start to plot out who your strategic partners are and the steps you have to take to get to the next level, because unboxing your own books. My first 6 copies came in the mail the other day. And even though it's a re-release of a book from a decade ago, I was like a little kid. I said, all the little steps it took to get this out, here it is again. And I was all excited about it again. And I've got a bunch of interviews already set up and talking about it. And just, it's the perfect time for Authorpreneur Live 3.0.
Yeah.
Because I've got this brand new book that's now in print again.
Perfect. And I've talked to several people who have said, oh my gosh, this is such perfect timing. I need this. So I know people have already registered. And this is happening next week on the 28th and 29th on Wednesday and Thursday.
If somebody's
Yeah.
listening to this conversation right now, Brian, and they may say, well, I've always thought about writing a book, but what are some of the things people could listen for to maybe refer other people to this event? You know, what are some of the catchphrases? What are some of the things you hear most often when people first reach out to you
Yeah.
as a ghostwriter and editor, or as the host and the founder of Authorpreneur Live?
Yeah. Sometimes people will ask me, I'm not really sure what I want to write about. That's legitimate. I do believe everyone has a message. I do work mostly with entrepreneurs, and so they usually have an idea of what their message is going to be because they already have a business and they're wanting to promote the business. The other thing I would also suggest that you think about is, what is your end game going to be? What you want to have happen because of the book? I mean, sharing your story is a nice idea. Your friends and family will buy it, but then who else is going to buy it? You want to sell more than 10 copies, right? Especially if you're going to put this much work into it.
Yeah.
So what do you want to have happen? Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad was all about selling his cash flow game, and he made references to it all the way through the book, even though he was providing tons of value and gave a lot of great information about how to think of money and how to get out of the rat race. But underlying all of that, he wanted to sell his cash flow game so that you could experience the decisions and struggles that it requires to get out of the rat race. So there was an educational component to it. T. Harv Eker's book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, same thing, provided tons of value, but his end game was he wants to have you come to his free 3-day event at which he will pitch coaching programs and quantum leap programs. And he's not doing it himself anymore. He's got a team that runs those events. I think he actually sold the company. But the end game is to get you to the event so that you can invest in additional educational opportunities to learn more. And it's great, but provide a ton of value first. So what is your end game? What is it that you want to have happen because of the book? In fact, I would probably say, if there are things that people continually ask, how did you do that? That might be your clue for a book. Another thing you can do is ask people, if I wrote a book, what would you expect it to be about? The answers may surprise you. Now, you'll have the people who will throw their snarky answers out there and try to be funny.
Yeah.
Ignore that, right? So there are people out there who will give you honest feedback. Identifying your message is the first thing you really need to do. Identifying the time is also important because we're all busy. And some of us have families and young children, and I don't have time. I really don't have time. But here's the thing. If you commit to writing 2 pages a day for 2 months, you will have a 120-page book done in 2 months. 2 months will pass whether you write or not. So write your book. Let's go.
Start writing your book. And if you're not quite sure, please come to this event. Come to Authorpreneur Live. It's 3.0, and you also have an opportunity to hear the first 2 years because they've all been great. And I've been so honored to have been invited back each year.
Yeah.
Every year, you and I have both learned new things in the 12 months since the last one. So we bring even more experience and guidance. And you bring new experts every time too. So that's great.
Absolutely. And I would also say you can register for free, but you also have the option to invest in the recordings. And here's why you do want to get the recordings. Not that I'm just trying to sell something, but think about this. You watch your favorite movie, you see a movie you really like, and then you decide to watch it again. And you realized, I missed this the first time I saw it. I missed that. In fact, I have a friend who has watched Cabaret every year for 20 years. He still picks up things that he missed. Yeah. He's looking at this from a different experience. He's at a different place in his journey, very much like this. If you are a beginning author, you'll get a lot out of it. You might be overwhelmed by some of it, but you'll get a lot out of it. But if you come back to the recording 6 months later, you're at a different place in your journey. You've implemented some of the things, and now you're ready to receive more of what you missed the first time.
Exactly.
So the recordings are $97, but for your listeners, for your audience, there is a coupon code that you can apply, and it's good until the day before the event. You can get $50 off. So you can get this for $47 if you apply the code APL50 as an Authorpreneur Live. APL50. When you click the option to invest in the recordings for $97, there will be a coupon code, a space for a coupon code APL50, and it will knock $50 off for you until the day before the event. If you wait until the day of the event or later, you'll be paying more.
That is extremely generous, Brian. Thank you so much for doing that for our listeners. We do have a very loyal group of people, and I truly appreciate that you're doing that for them. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So it's happening this coming week. It is October 28th and 29th. What time of day does it start, Brian, and how long does it run on each day?
Great question. Well, on the first day, the kickoff session will be at 11:30 Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first proper session will begin at noon, and it will run all the way until 6:00 p.m. on both days. So noon to 6 p.m. But on day one, join us 30 minutes early at 11:30. So 11:30 to 6 on the first day, the 28th, noon to 6 on the second day, the 29th. And every speaker gets an hour. So 45 minutes or so to speak plus Q&A. And it's going to be on Zoom. So you'll be getting a Zoom link when you register, and you'll want to enable the chat because you'll have a chance to chat your questions while the presentations are going on. If the question is on the topic that speaker's talking about, I will try to weave it in. If it's not, I will try and weave it in later. And then when the speaker's done, I will say, if I did not get to your question, I apologize. Please type your question again. And this is the time for you to ask your questions. I want to respect your questions, and you'll want to take notes. I know, Steve, you write pages of notes every time this happens.
I've got a whole binder called Authorpreneur 2.0, and I've already bought a new empty binder for Authorpreneur 3.0 Live. So, and when I start to weave in all of the advice from all of the experts, because we're talking writing a book and then everything else you can do with it, and how to promote it, and how to fund it, and all these different opportunities, how to use it as part of my business.
Yeah.
It will all be there waiting for you. You just need to get the recordings and take some notes, and then map out your action plan of what you're going to do. Don't just put it and let it gather dust. Seriously.
Right.
Invest in yourself and make it pay off, because you have to do the work on the other side.
Do the work.
Awesome. Brian
Absolutely.
K. Wright, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. I hope people will go to authorpreneurlive.com. Register. Don't forget that coupon code. What is it once again, so people can get? And thank you for doing this, by the way.
Yes,
Very
you're
generous.
welcome. APL 50. APL 50 as an Authorpreneur Live. APL 50.
Awesome.
And it'll be 47 instead of 97 until the day before the event. If you wait until the 28th, it will be 97.
Awesome. Go to authorpreneurlive.com. Get yourself in there. There is plenty of room. And I do know it's filling up, because I've heard from so many people who've already said they are going. So, Brian, thank you so much for being a part of this, being a part of my life, and inviting me to be a part of your journey as well.
Thank you. I cannot wait for Authorpreneur Live 3.0. Go to authorpreneurlive.com right now.